chakra.
Oh,
All
I think we're
right,
live now.
we're live. Today we're going to announce the latest 2024 uh, team challenge, and we're going to do that soon, but not immediately because first we're going to talk a little bit about past challenges, right? I think the first team challenge we ever did was 40K to far away, where me, Nick, and Steven competed to see who could go the furthest with 40,000 points and $400.
and Craig, where did you go?
Where did I go? I went to West Virginia, and then I
Hmm.
went I went all the way from DC to West Virginia.
Forgot about
Then I
that.
went back to DC. Then I went to New York City. Then I went to Madrid. Then I went to Senegal. Then I went to Johannesburg, South Africa. Then I took a train to Cape Town, and then I flew to the Seychelles.
With 40,000 points and $400.
That's
That's
great.
pretty incredible. So that was the first iteration, and Greg was the champ. So that won our first 40K to far away challenge, and that was something really we just kind of threw together. We have an annual kind of team meeting where we all get together, and that just sort of sprouted out a conversation walking back from ice cream, right? Like we came up with that idea essentially. So that was a lot of fun. And then we continued it on, right? So we did the passing the Guck challenge, and that was fun. Greg and I was tasked with using Greg's global upgrade certificates on Delta, and so we did some crazy stuff. And I used some portal shenanigans, and so we were able to go to the UAE and Le Meridian Maldives, and that was a lot of fun. And then we had our staycation far away, which was a video-based challenge during COVID, and so we made some weird, wacky, fun videos. And Carrie climbed in a suitcase, and
I think I won
then
also.
yes,
Oh,
yes, and carry
Important to
one
note.
also.
that's a key detail.
Minute details, minute details,
Yes.
literally, right in the suitcase. Dad joke alert. Anyway, so then so that was a couple of years ago, and then we did our three cards, three continents challenge. That was pretty cool, and so we took three welcome bonuses to visit at least three continents, and most of us, I think, accomplished that challenge pretty handily, right? I mean, we did our three continents and then some
Depends on if you
almost.
did you, but it
Yeah.
depends on how you count the budget.
Well, okay, all right. Stickler for the details over here. And then I mean, what were Stephen? What was your favorite moment from it? Or then last year, of course, I skipped past it, but we had the Party of Five challenge, where all five of us traveled together, and Stephen and Carrie teamed up to plan the first half, and Tim and I planned the second half, and Greg judged it to a tie, and we had a lot of fun flying around the world. But Stephen, what's been your favorite challenge or challenge memory or challenge thing so far?
I mean, each of the challenges had something had a lot of things fun to them, but one of the things I most enjoyed was on Three Cards, Three Continents, was going up to Scotland and then flying to the Aucklands and taking the world's shortest flight, which is less than 2 minutes long. And so my wife and I are actually going to be going to Scotland next year for my birthday with a couple of friends, and we're going to be going back up to the Orkney Islands, spending a little bit more time there. But then they're going to get to experience that like 2 minute flight as well, and so that'll be quite cool getting to do that again.
That's
Nice.
cool. Nick, you redid a challenge thing with your family too, didn't you?
Yeah. We went at the end of the three cards, three continents challenge. I went to see Santa at Santa Claus Village in Rovaniemi, Finland, and you can go back and watch some of the highlights to figure out why I did that. That was a comment Greg had made, and I thought it'd be funny if I could get there, and so I did, and it was a lot of fun. I said, "Oh, this would be awesome with young kids," and I have young kids. So this past December, we took a family trip to Santa Claus Holiday Village and met Santa, and went sledding and saw all sorts of cool stuff, fed the reindeer, and it was a lot of fun. So it was a blast with the family. It was as much fun as I imagined it would be. So that was really cool getting to go back and revisit that. I mean, we've seen some pretty awesome stuff. When I got back, thinking about it today, I looked at all the places that we've been over the last few years on our challenges, and it's been pretty cool. What about you, Tim? What's been your favorite highlight?
Well, I mean, the only one that I personally participated in was the Party of Five challenge, where Team SFO won the audience vote. But the the one that I actually the one that really weirdly enough that I have the strongest memories from is the staycay. And it's not just
Oh,
because Carrie got her face bit by an ant and crawled into a suitcase and won the whole thing.
unrelated stories, but yeah.
But but honestly, what it is I remember, and I don't remember all of it, everything about it, but I remember there being a video because I think that's when you guys were first trying to do videos, and there was a video of Greg trying to recreate his British walking path on a treadmill,
Oh yeah.
and
And
it was
and
it was perfect. And I would love to,
You
that's
did a
like
great
Perfect.
job.
that's a
Perfect was
cinematic
a
moment. I can
terrific
see where
adjective.
Greg's son got his directorial chops from
Yeah,
watching
probably.
that
Right.
video.
well, there was also that iconic video that Greg published where he gave some tips about how to not get stuff stolen in your hotel room.
I knew that
if
was going to come up.
That's a good one.
A couple of good videos that came
Cautionary
out of
tale.
that.
we won't go into too many details.
Yeah, you'll
how
have
he
to
went
Google
about
that one.
but-
Yeah.
There's
We'll
been
have
some
to
So I
put
do
it
have
up
a
on the channel.
I do have a question that will serve as a good segue into our why we're discussing our past challenges right now. This questioner asks, "Hi FM team. Now that we are approaching summer, what are you most looking forward to this summer?" And on a related note, only in hindsight, wow, Nick isn't wearing his fedora. So
I want to say that
related to both of those questions, let's
Nick actually is wearing a
why
fedora. The
not?
fedora doesn't make Nick.
Underneath.
Nick makes the fedora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
right. That's
Whatever
right.
hat
Before-
Nick decides to call fedora is a fedora.
Before we announce the next challenge, I want to mention two things. One, if you're watching, give us a thumbs up on YouTube. That always helps us out. And if you're not watching, you didn't hear me say that, so just do it. And if this one is only if you're, I think only if you're on the live stream. I put a poll in there because I wanted to play with. I learned recently that you could do polls in live streams, and I put a poll asking people what their favorite past challenge was the frequent miler did. And so it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. So please do that. All right, we ready now? Our new
Yeah.
challenge
So
for 2024.
why are you guys wearing those hats?
Drum roll, please. Darn, our editor is not
You can
ready.
insert later.
It's called Flying by the Seat of Our Points. That's
Whoa.
sort of work, Nick, but
Yeah, not really though, huh?
I died.
Only sort of. Sorry about that. I tried.
The idea behind this challenge is it's going to be all about last minute travel. And in this one, it's going to be Nick, Tim, and I are challengers, and Carrie and Steven are the judges, juries, and executioners who are going to basically send us to a bunch of places that we don't know where we're going to be going. We're not going to find out till about 2 days each time where we need to get to next. And the idea then will be for us to compete to find the best flights, the best hotels, actually the best award redemptions for those. So we want to get great value for our points. We want to travel as nicely as we can with those points for great value. And that's what flying by the seat of our points is all about.
I think it's probably worth mentioning. So we're going to be sent a few different places and given challenges to complete in those places. So we have no idea. Like three of us have no idea, Greg, Tim, and I, what Carrie and Steven are cooking up for us, but presumably they have some things in mind. And so we're going to do some fun stuff and hopefully showcase some of the tools we use to find last minute award availability and to figure out, okay, well, what's a good deal? What's not a good deal? Which one should we get in order to try to beat each other to the punch in terms of the best itinerary, the best flights, and the best deal using our points and our free night certificates. And then who has the most fun doing it based on the challenges that we're given.
And remind me,
So,
approximately how long do we have to get from the moment we find out where we're supposed to be somewhere in the world? How much time do we have to get there, be in a hotel, and be filmable? So there's going to be
I
check-in.
think it's I think it's 2 days in between, right? So we've got
Or
a
48 hours.
So yeah,
we've
it'll
got
be
a
2 nights in
Wednesday
each
start.
location.
Oh, right? Wednesday start, Friday mid check-in, and a
Sure, he's not sure.
I need to check my notes. We do
We'll
have
find
some
out on a Monday
questions.
evening where we're going first, and we'll all converge in one place in North America and have to be there by Wednesday evening. And then we'll be at that Wednesday evening time, we'll do a live stream, and we'll be told where our next locations are, but those will be different this time. So we'll all fly away from each other. We don't know where. And so that'll be the second destination. And then we'll do another live stream from wherever we are. Each of us will check in at the same time with the live stream, and then we'll be told our final destination. And that one will be converging again somewhere international. We have no idea where.
So we don't know where we're going to start. We're going to find out
Hindsight.
where we start. We don't know where we're going to have to go to start for, like an initial gateway, but the three of us will meet together in person for that. Then the three of us will separate and go to three different places somewhere in the world. We don't know where. And then the three of us will come back together again somewhere else in the world, and we don't know where. Carrie and Stephen are cooking that part of the challenge up for us.
Yeah. And as Nick said earlier, there'll be many challenges that Carrie and Stephen will cook up that they'll tell us, okay, once you hit the ground, go, who knows what? I don't know. Do you have any examples that you can give the audience that won't give away?
Can you let us,
Ooh.
for instance, like what would my be? Let's use that as an example.
You mean the exploration challenges?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
I really don't want to ruin anything for you guys.
Yeah.
What we said in the team meeting was we've designed challenges that basically force them out of their hotel rooms and are meant to increase the likelihood that they see something someone would care to hear about in that place. So, that's really vague. Sorry. Once again, just like last year's challenge, we have to be a little bit cryptic. So we're hiding things from each other.
But I think that's
Carry
exciting
on.
because you guys presumably have found things that people are going to want to know about, and we're going to go and do them.
Yep. So yeah, we were chatting about it over Slack earlier on, and Carrie's come up with some great ideas of activities to send you guys off to do. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it because I think if some audience members don't know or don't remember, or maybe you're newer to our team, you may not know that Stephen for the last almost 7 years has been traveling around the United States. So he's been on a 50-state road trip, seeing all the states, and so coming up with all sorts of cool, interesting things to do along the way. So I know he's got a handle on finding things to do, like cool off the beaten path type stuff. And Carrie, you spent years and years as a nomad here, right? You've been traveling around all over the place. I don't even know where, more places than any of the rest of us have been to. So you've seen and done things that we've only thought about. So I'm curious to see what it is you're going to come up with.
So this person has a question for us. I'm going to see if we can start weaving in listener viewer questions, and if we'll get to broad questions if we have to, but we're really excited about this challenge. So if you guys want to give us challenge related questions, that would be great too. So just an invitation to the viewers. This question is, how do you plan on handling the requirement for onward travel that many countries have in this challenge? I'm going to give that question to Stephen, obviously. None of the rest of you can.
So that is a
do anything
fantastic
about
question, and it's one that I wish I could say that I put a lot of thought into, but that's actually a very good point that I don't know if any of us had really considered about the fact. I don't know about you guys. I don't know if any of you had been thinking about the fact that you're going to be buying a one-way ticket to somewhere, not knowing where you're going to be going after that, and so you're not going to have an onward ticket. So I think the solution will be, once they've booked their ticket to that place, they'll just have to book some other kind of one-way ticket to anywhere in the world, I guess, that's refundable. And then once they've arrived in their destination, then they can just cancel that and rebook whatever they need once they know where they're going to be going to next. But thank you to whoever ended up suggesting that, because that is something that will be worth having, because it would for them to get to.
That's the real reason we wanted to do this,
and then find out that they're going to have
find
these
out the things we hadn't considered, huh?
Yeah.
I
Well,
have to say there were quite a few times when Drew and I were nomading that we would land somewhere, and before going through customs, we would just real quick book something we knew was cancelable. We did that many times. So buy those SIM cards. Make sure you have international data. That's the answer to that one. Get clever and make sure you film it so we can show everyone. So when
truth be
somebody
told,
asks
I
that in the
mean,
future, we'll have an answer.
I've been to like 50 something, almost 60 countries, and I can only think of 2 times I think that I was ever actually asked to show my proof of onward travel. So I mean, it's something that certainly could happen. So smart. Thank you for asking, whoever asked, but something I'm also not overly concerned about.
So this next question, what's the budget for the contestants in this challenge? I'm going to give that one to Greg, just so it's not all Stephen answering.
Yeah, this is something that we haven't really finished the conversation about this, but as things stand right now, there isn't a fixed budget. Instead, for each thing we do, we're going to be scored based on how good of a value it is what we did. So if one of us books a outrageously expensive flight, they know they would get a bad score for that. That said, to the extent that Frequent Miler, my business, is paying for these things, I am.
So there's no budget. Let's just say there's no budget.
I am
That's what Greg's
interested
trying
in
to
having
say.
a cap on those.
Can't put a
things.
price on the entertainment
I
value,
know.
Greg.
I mean, really, it's the sky's the limit.
Well, I think the thing is, I mean, I know that Greg and Tim are going to try to find a great deal. And so if I spend 200,000 points on something, I know I'm not going to win. So I know I got to find the award that is a great value, within reason, obviously great luxury too. But I think that we'll all be competing that down. And I assume that we will probably surprise ourselves as well as
And I
everybody
think
else.
it's good for the contestants to keep in mind that Stephen and I are both we both score pretty high on the frugality value side of things. So, that kind of thing wows us, and we're the judges. So, that will help Greg's wallet, I think.
And the other thing as well
Maybe
is
still
that
has
the guys are all going to be at the mercy of last minute award availability, particularly with flights. That's going to be hard. And so, in an ideal world, like if planning this out 3 months, 6 months ahead of time, then sure, they would have all kinds of options. Going to need to be booking a flight for the very next day, or possibly even that same day. They're going to have, in theory, far fewer options than they'd normally have. And so it'll be interesting to see how they balance the kind of frugality with the luxury with just simply what's there to be booked in the first place.
Oops, I just shut my video off, my bad. So next question. It's a two-parter. This person just says scoring. And in combination with that, will the judges share their scoring criteria in advance?
Good question.
That's something we spent a lot of time discussing today
as well.
It's not that we haven't prepared,
today,
we've put a lot of time into trying to figure out the best way to do that, right?
I guess so. I am curious to know from those listening, do you want to see our scoring criteria ahead of time? We've discussed showing it ahead of time. We've discussed keeping it private and showing it after. What do you guys think? What's interesting to you guys? We have a criteria. It's pretty nerdy, in the best possible way. But do you guys want to see that ahead or not? And then similarly, this person says, will there be any opportunity for reader-viewer engagement at the convergence points? Nick, I'll let you cover that one.
Yeah, so we're going to live stream. So the way this is going to happen is are we giving this? Can I share the dates? So on Monday, June 3rd, we're going to have a YouTube live where the three of us will find out where we have to go. Carrie and Stephen will tell us, okay, you're going to go here. Let's say it's Chicago. So the three of us have to be in Chicago by Wednesday, let's say at 9:00. And so the three of us will get together in Chicago and we're going to compete to see who does the best getting there, I think. And so when we arrive on Wednesday night, we'll live stream again. We'll each share what we've done, how we booked our flights there. And we'll make an argument to you, the viewer, the people who are watching along on our live stream, as to why we've done the best. And your job on the live stream is going to be to tell Carrie and Stephen who you think has done the best with that particular leg. Then that Wednesday, June 5th, we'll find out where we need to be on Friday, June 7th. And that will be a different location for Greg and Tim and I. So the three of us will each have to go somewhere different in the world. And so we're going to use our points and miles to travel there. And then we're all going to get online again 2 days later. So that'll be help me out here, the 7th, 5th, 7th, 9th, 2 days after the Friday. So Sunday or Monday. We'll get online again. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make an argument as to why we had the best flight getting there. And we're going to explain what we booked and how we booked it and why we booked it and why we didn't book something else and why we think each of us did the best in terms of booking the best flight, most luxurious, the best value, the best routing, best lounge access, whatever it may be that we think makes our itinerary better than the other two people. And Stephen and Carrie will presumably already have in mind who they think has won, but we're going to be counting on you to help us convince them. So essentially, I'm going to count on all of you to help me convince Carrie and Stephen that I won. And you're going to tell them why in the comments. And, of course, Greg and Tim will resist, but it'll be futile.
The other audience participation thing that we're planning to do is the three of us contestants will each have our own blog posts that we will be keeping as like a journal of what we're doing, how we book different things and so on. And what we'll do in there is open up those blog posts for comments and ask people to help us out. So, maybe you have a better idea or a good idea for how maybe Nick needs to get to Morocco. Well, you have a great idea for how we could get there. So you would post in Nick's post, you'd write a comment there and say, hey, Nick, did you know you could fly whatever for only, 12 avios and get there? Or maybe that city really well, and so you saw that he's going to have a challenge to get to a certain place, and the city, so you can help him out and tell him, oh, you can get on the subway and do this and that, whatever the thing is, based. Because I don't know what the challenges are, I can't give a good example.
Or I'm going to the city X, and you're like, oh my goodness, you can't miss this coffee shop. It's got the most delicious pastries. Please tell me about the delicious pastries you know about wherever it is I'm going. And
Nick with the pastries so that Tim and I can get ahead.
I got to fuel up. We're getting some traveling to do. You got to let me know. So we're going to be soliciting your help essentially in figuring out our routing, our flights, and what to do when we get to the places we're going to.
And I'm not sure if that person was basically asking whether or not there would be meetup opportunities. I don't think there's going to be time on this challenge because the location they're initially going to be heading to in the US, they're going to be traveling to that day. And then within a couple of hours, we're probably going to be doing the live streaming. So there can be an opportunity then. And that's where they find out where they're going first. And so they're immediately going to be trying to do award bookings. So it's unlikely during this particular challenge that there'll be an opportunity to do any kind of like reader meetups or anything like that. So just in case that's what they're also hoping.
We've got some really great feedback coming through. A lot of great ideas from people. First of all, they definitely want to see our scoring criteria ahead of time, even if we don't go into specifics, just the general things we're going to be valuing. Mm-hmm. That's good to know. And they definitely want to see us posting on Instagram stories. So let's talk a bit about the ways we're going to be sharing all of this, because we will definitely be sharing on Instagram stories. But we're going to try to add in a few other things. So, Tim, can you talk about some of the ways we're going to be updating folks as we travel?
Well, there's going to be a strong Instagram presence, of course, but we'll also have, each of us will have, as was already mentioned, the kind of daily diary. Dear Frequent Miler, I woke up in Amsterdam today, and I went and got a pastry for Nick so that he would be happy. And so those will be the primary two ways that we'll be kind of sharing what's happening. And then we'll also have, I mean, a big one will be every 48 hours, effectively, we'll be doing a live stream where not only will we be interacting with everybody that has been following or who hasn't been following and just wants to heckle us. And so then at that point, we'll be giving recaps of what we've been up to, about what we think about Stephen and Carrie and their challenges. And and then give some opportunity for folks to be able to say, give their feedback on who they think has been successful, who has not been successful, who's been the most successful, i.e. Tim.
Who the head, who's behind?
Who's behind, i.e. probably Tim. But so I mean, there'll be a lot of ways to kind of interact with what we're doing. The daily updates will be primarily based around the kind of updated blog posts and Instagram, but then every 48 hours we'll be having a public live stream where we can everybody can sort of hear about what's been going on, hear about what Stephen and Carrie think, and give their own opinions, which hopefully will be a lot of fun.
And we have been listening to reader feedback, because with some of the past challenges, it has been hard keeping the blog updated with what we've been up to kind of in real time. And so it does feel like people who are only following along on the challenges by reading the blog posts have been like almost a little bit hard done by, just because we've been putting a bit more focus on the Instagram side of things, because that's kind of the easier way of telling the stories in real time. But we're going to be making much more of an effort to keep the blog updated as well, with where all the guys are at and things like that. So you should have a much better idea with this latest challenge, where they are, what they're doing, what they've booked, how they've done it, why they've booked that, what challenges they'll have, and things like that. So no matter which medium you follow us through, you should be getting a really good idea as to all of the fun that they're having on the trip.
Yeah, if I can piggyback on that, we've talked about how we need to do to get that blog post as up to date as our Instagram is. But I do want to give a shout out to Instagram, because I know some people are not necessarily Instagram users, and that was me for a long time. But I find that it's a great way to share travel stories as they're happening. So it's really I think it's the most fun way to follow along. And believe me, I love our blog, and our blog will always be our primary outlet for creating stuff. But when it comes to actual live traveling, Instagram is the best way to tell the story. So that's, I think, going to be your best bet if you want to follow along as things are happening. And we've certainly put more thought as time has gone on into making that cohesive and coherent in terms of scheduling things out to make it a little bit easier to follow who's doing what and where and when. So hopefully that will be, continually improved as it has been over our last couple of challenges, I would say. And yeah, those daily diary, Dear Diary, Tim brought me a delicious pastry.
Nick needs a friend delicious pastry.
Someone here does say I'm here for pastry duty, so I think you're covered.
I like it. Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yes. We have a lot of people just saying really positive things, which is awesome. Unfortunately, doesn't translate well into a question for you guys. But I do want to remind everyone to like again. So, our buddy here commented, "Come on, guys, we can do better." So we got to make him feel better and get more likes if you're watching this. So before we go into more general questions, I am curious if each of you guys, I'll be disappointed if you're all like correct, but I am curious if each of you has like one guess as to where you might get sent, and you're only allowed to guess one place.
Okay, poker face time for us too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's
Greg.
That's a marvelous.
Greg goes first.
Now, are we saying continent, country, city, neighborhood?
However you
granular
want to guess it.
should we get here?
Okay, I
more granular, the more
we'll go
interesting.
country. I feel like that should be like somewhat generic.
Well, I mentioned Morocco before, so I'm going to say that.
That's your story, and you're sticking to it, huh?
I'll be disappointed if it's Morocco, let me tell you.
All right, Nick guesses next.
I had the other day, something came to me and I was like, oh my goodness, I bet that's where they're going to send me. And then it almost immediately flew out of my brain because I couldn't remember when I went to tell my wife. I was like, you know what? I figured it out and I forgot. Like,
Newark?
there was something that happened, and I was like, this is going to be it. Newark, yes.
It was Newark, New
Newark.
West Virginia again? Feature that one?
No, but I'll pick a place because I'm sure that's what I'm supposed to do here. So I'm gonna say Malaysia.
And how about Tim? What do you think?
Well, so I'm gonna double down, right?
Uh-oh.
So I think that first of all, Carrie, and this is this is behind the scenes, but Carrie behind the scenes was very interested in getting all of us to fill out a map that showed all the countries that we had been to. And she really wanted us to fill this out before she and Steven started talking about how they were
I
challenged.
forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
did not.
Dang it, Tim. You just reminded Greg.
So I'm going to guess that there's going to be a little bit of countries we haven't been to involved.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to guess that, and let me expand it a little bit. I think we're going to meet somewhere on the Midwest to East Coast. I think we're going to start in Europe, and I think we're going to end up in the Middle East or South Asia.
That was
And
a pretty
I
broad
think
guess.
that each of us will.
So basically, Tim, so we're not going to
wasn't quite
Antarctica.
generic. So we're going to be starting in America. We're going to be visiting a
No,
continent, and then
not,
we're going to be visiting 2 other continents.
no, not America. We're going to be starting
No.
on the East Coast
East
of the United
Coast.
States.
Okay.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then we're going to go
Okay.
to Europe as our first destination, maybe Middle East. I think probably all three of us will end up in Europe, and that's my guess. And then the last destination will be either, I'm guessing, Middle East, South Asia. That's where I'm guessing. And
All
I'm
right.
going to say that each one of us will end up at a country we haven't been to, because I have this weird little, I haven't been to country in the middle of Europe. Like I've been to all of Europe effectively, except for Switzerland. I don't
You
actually think
gave
I'm
up
going to
your
go to
right to
Switzerland,
make
but
a guess
I'm
once you
my
guess.
guess is Switzerland. I can do
It's
it.
hopeful. Hopefully, it gets to go to Switzerland.
Well, okay, we just got another question that is quite similar. This is a good segue, and I love it. What is a place you are hoping you aren't sent to? Tim, let's start with you. You made a joke
Germany.
about this earlier, but all right.
Germany or
Wow.
Houston.
I
Either
thought you were
way.
going to say Morocco since you were just
Wait, Germany or what?
Well, yeah, I mean Morocco. So the joke is that I'm actually in Morocco right now, and I'm like spending like 3 weeks in Morocco. So if I got sent right back to Morocco, it would be anticlimactic. But I'm gonna say honestly, like if Morocco's fine, but I would say like Germany is a place that I've spent a lot of time in Germany, so I'm ready to
All
not
right.
be in Germany if we're gonna
Tim
go.
is hoping it's not Germany. How
Germany or
about you,
Morocco?
Nick?
Let's just say the two.
I'm gonna say for where I don't want to go. I like that's hard. Yeah, I'm not. I really hate to punt this one, but I'm not sure that there's a place that I guess I'm gonna say Europe in general as a full continent because it's easy enough to get there that I've gone a number of times before, and I feel like I could easily go to Europe with my family just about anywhere in Europe at any time. So it feels less challenging to me. So there you go. I'm going to say not Europe. Make it hard. I hope they planned Europe and now they have to drop back 10 yards and punt.
You're hoping you're like send
So
me to
you're
Houston.
hoping you don't go to Europe. All right.
Yep.
Greg.
It's tough. I mean, I can't think of too many places that I don't want to get sent. I mean, I certainly don't want to get sent to Antarctica, not because I wouldn't want to visit there, but there's just no way I'm going to get there in time and I'm going to miss the check-in.
There you have it.
This
No
person
Antarctica for Greg.
makes a great
Especially
point.
in
They
our summer.
say the correct answer is you don't want to go to London because then you're stuck paying the departure tax.
Oh, good.
Ooh.
That is a good answer.
Yeah,
That's up to
you could
you.
answer this another way, saying where you hope not to go because it would just be really, really hard. Would that change your answer at all? Anyone?
No, I think that would make it more fun. Wait, what was that, Tim?
He said, I don't want to give them ideas.
Oh. I'm up for the challenge. Make it a tough place to get to.
I want to know,
We're all meeting up in Timbuktu.
are we going to need jackets?
Yeah, that's the hard part. That's the thing I've been
Oh,
wondering
we
about
haven't
lately.
even-
How am I going to pack?
We haven't even talked about that, which was true last challenge too, like how to pack for
Mhm.
places you don't know you're going.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
because
guess
last challenge, even though we did it in the summer, we did need jackets.
yeah.
Sure did.
That's true. Well, I'm inclined to not give you any information and you just have to pack like you did last time, but I suppose
All right.
we can
I'll pack my credit card, which is probably the most important thing in that case. Can always get another layer if I need it.
So looks like we're still getting plenty of comments, but less and less questions. Are we ready to switch to general questions?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do an Ask Us Anything here.
All right, let me skim a bit. Thoughts on the Strata and the Strata Elite? Do you think there will be family language? And can somebody explain what that means as you answer? We'll start with Nick.
So the Strata card, we've seen some general details on, and it's coming soon. If you've missed, it's coming like next week. So
The
it'll
Strata
be interesting.
Premier is coming.
The Strata Premier is coming next week. That's right. Strata Elite, I don't think is going to be coming soon. I think that's not going to be a 2024 thing. I think that maybe a 2025 thing if it happens at all. So yeah, I think it's probably not. My guess is it's not going to be significantly different than the Premier card as it is now, but it'll add travel protections, I'm hoping and thinking. So if they add the travel protections back, that'll make a lot of sense because it'll be like, oh, finally a travel card that has travel protections from Citi. It's been a while since they had that. So it'd be great to have that back. In terms of family language, so Citi has had different, well, so first of all, family language, I'm not as concerned about. Amex has had their family language, but with Citi, it's the whatever their application window is going to be. I think it's going to have to be 48 months since your last bonus is what's expected, right?
And the Strata Premier card does have that language where if you've had a regular Citi Premier card bonus in the last 48 months, you won't be able to get the bonus on the new version of the card.
So I thought, yeah. So I mean, my thoughts are if you've had a new card bonus on the Premier in the last 48 months, you're not going to have to think too hard about it. And if you haven't, then I guess let's wait and see. And hopefully they come out with something really interesting. I mean, at the very least, 75,000 points is what's expected to be the welcome bonus. And that will be better than what we've seen on the Premier in a while, right?
So we have a lot of questions on this, and you'll have to tell me. I don't understand these enough to know if any of these are repeats. So just say skip if so. Do you think that Citi rebranding the Premier signals a much better chance of a prestige replacement CSR comp coming in the next year or so? Was that already answered?
No.
Tim, take that one if it's new.
Okay. Yes. I think that to me, this there's been a lot of conjecture over the last couple of years about whether or not Citi was actually going to replace the Prestige. I have been unfortunately, in terms of our annual predictions, an unfortunate space of predicting this for much too long than I should, for much too long a time period than I should have. But the fact that they're creating the Citi Strata, that they're product changing it from the Citi Premier to the Citi Strata Premier seems to be a sign that the Citi Strata Elite, which is what they have trademarked as their Citi Prestige replacement, will eventually be on the way. Because otherwise, why would you change the name of the Premier? So yeah, I think it's going to be coming. And the fact, and honestly, I think that I'm much more after today, or after hearing more details about the Citi Strata Premier. Effectively, they've kept the annual fee the same. They've added an additional category and travel protections back. So that seems to indicate that what they're thinking about for the Strata Elite will be something that will be desirable, as opposed to I think what they did Citi has been kind of stripping stuff away from their cards and stripping the actual prestige away from their card portfolio, which was their premium card. So yeah, I mean, I think this is a really positive development for Citi, and says that they're planning on trying to compete with Capital One, Chase, and Amex in both of these, in both the kind of the premium and ultra premium sphere. But then again, I've predicted this for 2 years, so I have to say that.
Tim,
Doubling down.
I don't think you predicted it for this year.
I did, actually.
Oh, did you?
I doubled down.
I was going to say he's safe because I don't think it's going to happen this year, but
I'm looking at the 2024 predictions and I'm not seeing it.
No, I did. I thought I could have sworn I did.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to predict right now. It'll be 2025. 2025 on the Strata Elite.
Now I know what I should predict for 2025, if so.
Okay.
I beat you to it. I already did it.
All right.
This will be where like Citi ends up December 31st just to foil your plans.
Just to get in the way. All right, Greg, this is another Citi one for you. Thanks for all the awesome content. Citi has denied Player 2 and I Premier 3 times in the last 2 years. Should I product change my DC?
Double cash.
Double cash? Okay. To Premier since it's going away, or try for Strata Elite?
Oh, I
What
would
do?
just wait and try for Strata Elite. I mean, we won't know whether having the Premier having it without getting a bonus, whether that'll stop you from getting the bonus on the Strata, but why risk it by changing now to the Premier? Why not wait and see if sometimes on new product launches, they're easier on approvals than normal. So I would wait till it's out, try again, and hopefully you'll have better luck.
And if they do deny you for the new card, then you can always product change at that point. So it doesn't seem like any need to do it prematurely.
So before I get this question to Stephen, we have an update from the Swiss Rail guy. If anyone remembers from last Ask Us Anything or the one before, somebody asked if there was a way to earn points buying a Swiss Rail pass. And we were stumped. Not one of us knew. He said Pelago is a travel portal like Rakuten, but this portal gives us Singapore miles. I am booking my Swiss Rail pass through them and we'll be getting a lot of Singapore miles.
Nice.
So
cool.
Yeah, that's
Good
kind of a
job,
fun
Swiss Rail
circle
guy.
back. Yeah.
Now I gotta look
all right.
up Pelago.
Stephen, what's going on with transfers to Virgin? Are points getting stuck in transit lately? Would you advise holding off on transfers to Virgin? Do we know anything about that?
I've not heard of any issues with transfers to Virgin, and there's 2 transfer bonuses at the moment to them, or there had been like are they still going until the end of this month? I can't remember if they
at least one of them is still on. I don't know if they're
one goes to the middle next month.
And I haven't heard anything about delays myself, and so I don't know if that's just a one-off kind of issue or if it's just been in the last 24 hours or something like that. But normally I certainly wouldn't have any issues with transferring to Virgin, but perhaps there's something out there that this person's encountered, but I haven't. Have you guys heard anything?
No.
Once
before I had trouble when I transferred to Virgin, and then I tried to transfer again shortly thereafter, and the second transfer got locked up. That was with Amex. So I've had that happen before, but I haven't heard any data points about this. No.
Oh, I mean, I guess the other thing is because there's like Virgin Red and there's Virgin Atlantic. I guess it depends on if you're trying to, like, is there actually a difference when you're transferring from one to the other? So a transfer partner where they transfer to Virgin Red, if you put in your Virgin Atlantic transfer number, is that classed as different, or is it still exactly the same? Just because otherwise that's the only other potential issue I can think of.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Alternate question. This person wants to know how much has Pepper peppered Pepper, and does he still plan to pepper Pepper until it's no longer spicy? I just thought that one.
I'm assuming that's the Pepper. I'm guessing they're talking about the Pepper Rewards app that's so yeah, I probably should be doing a little bit more Pepper than I have been. So
all right, Nick.
There's enough Pepper to go there.
It's spicy enough. Can you speak on the Capital One Venture X Business Priority Pass rumors? My newly issued card is a Visa, and I've read on other blogs that the Visas won't have restaurant access. Is this true?
I've read the same, and I assume that it's true based on the reports I've seen on other sites. So I don't. Tim, do you go ahead? Looks like you got something there.
Well, no, I've seen it on one site. Have you seen it? Have you seen multiple? Like, I mean, I still have like, so to back up, here's my question about this whole thing.
Mhm.
I've seen it reported. I've seen one data point that's now been shared on 3 different sites, but it's actually
Okay.
the same data point.
Same data point.
And I've been to multiple because I have, you know, in my, I should say my family, I don't have it. I have a Venture X. My wife has a business Venture X. And I've been to multiple places where they have at the front, you know, like the restaurants where they have at the front thing that says, Capital One cards don't work here because they're used to the Venture X. And then when we give them the priority pass from the Business X, even though they swear up and down it's not going to work, it actually does work for them. So what I'm unclear about, and I'm not saying it's wrong at all, but it seems like there was one guy who effectively said my Venture X, Business X priority pass didn't work. And I'm curious, and that's what my question is: have we seen multiple data points on this, or is it just the one person who said my Business X or my Venture X business priority pass didn't work?
Well, it was
we just
yes,
need to reach out to Capital One and ask
Yeah.
for what's the actual.
see if we can get.
But I mean, but I mean, when we say multiple, I guess that's what I'm wondering. Is it still, has anybody seen more than one data point? Because that's, I haven't yet.
No, the person that reported it wasn't a matter of the restaurant not taking it. It was a matter of Capital One when they called, telling them that it didn't come with restaurant access. But at least that's what I saw reported anyway. But you're right, Greg. Let's follow up and get a definitive answer on the blog within the next day or two.
And if it's just a rep telling them that, it makes me wonder if they've heard about
Yeah, could be wrong.
personal Venture X
Right.
using
Yeah.
the restaurant
Yep.
access, and that's what they're confused about, and that they don't realize that there's been the differentiation between the two of them, maybe.
All right. This one is for you, Tim. FHR points question, please. My platinum AU is getting a points cost 33% higher than I get for the same day. Ideas on the reason?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, honestly, I've never seen any, I mean, I guess I guess I'm a little unclear about the question in terms of, are they searching the FHR, how they're searching the FHR site? If they're searching it, I guess I'm unclear about how that relates to FHR. In terms of what they mean by the platinum AU.
Oh. I think I understand. So
Okay.
if you've got a platinum card and you want to book an FHR property with points, then you get 1 cent per point. But if you're not a platinum card holder, then you wouldn't be able to book an FHR
Yeah,
property.
you would be able to book
Right,
an
but
FHR.
I'm wondering if they got
The
taken
AU.
to Amex Travel overall, and they're just
Yeah.
saying
They're
hotels
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
maybe are costing more, which would make sense that the AU who doesn't have a platinum card of their own would see a worse point value for hotels. But yeah, they shouldn't be able to see fine hotels and resorts stays.
Well, okay. No. Well, if it's a platinum AU, they would
Mhm.
still have access to book FHR probably, right? But they probably couldn't use their own points at 1 cent per point. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're a platinum AU that has a full platinum, so you get Centurion Lounge access, and so somebody who's like paid for the AU, is that person not able to book an FHR?
No idea.
Yeah, I would assume
that's a good
are.
point, Nick. Maybe you can. Yeah, maybe you can book it,
Yeah.
but it uses your points instead of the primary points.
Yeah,
in that situation,
if you have it in your login, because you could put the AU card in your own login.
that could be it.
This isn't Ask Us Anything that's producing just as many questions as
that would
we're
be my
asking.
Bet. That would be, I'd bet at least 8% of the points that's what.
So one of the things here though that was unsaid is that at best you're getting 1 cent per point, which we don't usually like to spend our points for that low of value. So that's just something to think about. But of course, if you don't have better uses for your points, which with Amex is typically transferring to airline partners, then I mean, obviously it's fine, but there are other ways of getting better value from your points than spending them at 1 cent per point.
All right, I think we're at Greg. What are the most rewarding ways to get 529 gift of college gift cards? Is that a
Yeah,
typo
so gift
or is that a
No,
thing?
no, that's right.
it's correct. Gift of college gift cards can be used to fund 529 college savings accounts, or can be used to pay for college loans. And the best deal is usually when you can find them in a place where your credit card, that takes credit cards for buying them, that sells $500 versions of them, so that the $5.95 fee or whatever it is not a huge percentage of the overall cost, and where your credit card will get a multiple. So good example is some gas station chains. What is it?
Cumberland Farms.
Cumberland Farms.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you had like the Wyndham Earner business card that gets 8x at gas stations, for example, that's probably the single best deal out there. But of course, there's other cards that bonus gas stations, not as much, and you could use those. I know in Texas, there's some grocery chains that carry these cards. And so you could use a card that earns a good multiple on at grocery stores, like the Citi Premier or the Citi Strata Premier coming soon, or I don't know, the Amex Gold would be another good one with 4x.
All right, this is an everyone question, and we're going to start with Nick. I'm shuffling my order here in my questions for those reading along. Name your 6 must-hit destinations if you were booking an ABA around the world trip.
I'm going to guess that they meant ANA.
ANA, maybe.
Probably what they
Yeah,
meant.
Okay.
Yeah, because B,
But
yeah,
if
B
you were
is
going to
next
book
to N
ABA,
on the.
what would you do?
I don't know, because I would need
that
to
would be
find
a
out
really
what ABA
American
is.
basketball.
It'd be like an ABBA tour.
Well, that'd be 2 Bs though, right?
Well,
I think
That would be like the most
It's
impossible
a shortened
challenge
ABBA tour.
ever.
I mean, if it's going to be ABBA, I got to see them in Stockholm, probably, right? So, my 6 must-hit destinations are booking an ANA round the world flight. Well, the issue, I just spent a bunch of time the last couple of days trying to see if I could put one of these together, because I needed to get back from a trip and I thought that this might be a better use of miles. So I spent a bunch of time looking, but I think the biggest issue for me is that you want to avoid the Lufthansa group carriers because the high surcharges. So that limits, and really just trying to avoid the carriers that have high surcharges limits where you can put one of these together too. So if I were going to do 6 must hits, wow, I don't know. I mean, Japan. I like Japan, and if you're going to do an ANA around the world, you don't have to fly ANA to get to Japan. You can fly United to get to Japan. You can fly Asiana to get to Japan. So I think Japan would have to be one of my must-hit destinations. I don't know if I can come up with 5 more must-hits. I mean, Thailand, because you can fly Thai Airways there from Japan, and then from there, Tim would take it.
Yeah, let's do 2 each. Tim,
2 each.
which 2 are you contributing?
So from Thailand, I'm going to go to Singapore and then go from Singapore to South Africa.
Oh, that's
All
good,
right.
because you can backtrack a little bit within a region. So going back to Singapore would be fine on an ANA around the world, we've learned. And Singapore Airlines, of course, has a route to go to South Africa. I don't know if South African Airways does or not. Good luck finding Singapore Airlines business class availability, though, that's available to ANA. That's not going to happen is the problem.
Hey,
Stephen, where would you
Mr.
take it from
Buzzkill,
there?
come on.
So from South Africa, I'd go Rwanda, and
Go where?
then Rwanda.
Oh,
Just because we went there, probably about 15 years ago now, and absolutely loved it there, and I would happily go back. And then after that, I guess, given the direction we're traveling, it would make sense to go up to Europe, and so I will go Prague.
All right. So, but Stephen, you're like a little unrealistic on me there. Let's see. There's no Star Alliance carrier that travels to Kigali from to Rwanda from Johannesburg. So I guess maybe you can do Ethiopian. I bet you could do Ethiopian. All right. I was fact checking you over here with Flight Connections. I use flightconnections.com to figure out who flies where. So that's why I was like, let me see if there's a Star Alliance carrier, and of course Ethiopia does fly that.
If that did happen, I would just cancel Tim's legs and just send myself to Rwanda first
Greg, what would you change about the itinerary the rest set up?
Well, I would probably from Africa fly up to Istanbul, and maybe from there, I bet you could hit some Greek Isles and hop around there a little bit, depending on the time of year. So that would be my next two.
That's a good pick because Turkish has moderate surcharges, so you're going to pay some surcharge there, but it's not going to be super duper high. So you can at least get to Athens, and then you can fly Aegean to get somewhere else in the Greek Isles. So look at you. Look at you.
2025.
Got a gold star for me.
The 2025 annual challenge should be everybody has to do an ANA around the world trip, and Nick is the judge.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I'm not sure I want to do another one. It's so frustrating dealing with ANA.
All right. Nick, is it worth it to move 100,000 out of Fidelity to Meryl to get platinum honors? Did FM team see any inconvenience on maintaining 100K in Meryl?
So for somebody who's not familiar, the reason that we're talking about this here is because if you have 100,000 in cash or investments with Bank of America or Merrill Lynch or Merrill Edge, they're no fee, self-directed brokerage, then you get platinum honor status with Bank of America, which means you get a 75% bonus on credit card rewards on the like Bank of America branded cards, not on the co-brands like Alaska, but on like the Bank of America premium rewards, for instance. So it becomes 2.625% cash back everywhere, like 3.5 dining or whatever. You add 75% onto the rewards. So is it worth moving the money from Fidelity to Merrill? Yeah, definitely. Are you getting any benefit by keeping it at Fidelity? I guess I would say definitely if you've got investments that you can easily move. If your investments are in ETFs, for instance, that you get at any brokerage, then why not move them over to Bank of America, to Merrill Edge, that is to say, and keep them there so that you can get the 75% bonus on the credit card rewards, because Fidelity is not giving you anything like that, I don't think, for having the money there. So you might as well, in that case, in terms of, has there been any inconvenience in maintaining the money? Again, not for me, because I'm investing my money almost entirely in ETFs and like Vanguard ETFs. So it doesn't really matter to me where I hold the Vanguard ETFs. They can be anywhere. And that's why actually I just moved mine away from Merrill and I moved them to Robinhood to take advantage of the 3% match they were doing through the end of April, where they would match 3% of your entire balance, with a contribution to your IRAs if you moved your IRAs over. So that's what I just did. So now I just moved it away, although I still have platinum honors for however long that lasts. I think it takes a long time before they take it away. So I assume that I'll continue to get the 75% bonus for a while anyway. But yeah, I think it's worth it. Anybody have a differing opinion?
No, I totally agree. I'd say the one inconvenience is the only point of doing it is because you're going to want Bank of America credit cards that earn those big multiples. And Bank of America's user interface for handling their credit cards is awful. And so if you want to set up like auto pay or anything, it's very confusing. So that's an inconvenience.
Oh, and I should caveat, I guess, I'm not a day trader. I'm not like buying and selling stuff all the time. So I can't speak to the interface for that. I'm buying, just the same three things basically, essentially all the time, and just buying more of them in my investment accounts. So I'm not, I'm not doing a lot of I'm not buying options and stuff like that. So I can't speak to the interface in terms of that stuff.
All right. Last question, which is probably just going to be a quick yes or no, is my guess. Tim. Hi, I was recently informed by an Air France representative that it's permissible to forego the first leg of a reward ticket and still utilize the second leg. Can you confirm this?
I cannot.
Let's elaborate. Do you have a guess?
No, that's shocking to me, honestly, that an Air France representative would say that. I've never heard of a single, and maybe somebody can correct me and they found, but normally, unless you've made a change to that leg. Now, maybe what I could see happening is the Air France rep says, yes, I can rebook you onto a different ticket that does not have this leg on it. But as far as I know, most programs, if not all programs, if you have a 2-leg ticket or multi-leg ticket booked and you don't show up for your first leg, they're going to cancel the whole itinerary.
That's true. There are a couple of countries now that have laws on the books that you don't have to show up for the first leg. Italy is one of them. I have not tried that, but by the letter of the law, by Italian law, if you don't show up for that first leg from Italy and you just showed up in Paris, they can't cancel it on you. Now, arguing that out with a representative at the airport, like, good luck. I think that you may have a court case if you want to go to an Italian court, but I haven't tried to push that. I read about it when it happened because it was, kind of a big deal. I think there might be another country in Europe that has a law about that also, where you legally can skip the first leg without getting the rest of the ticket canceled. But again, like I said, good luck in practice actually doing that. I wouldn't show up at the airport without a backup plan.
Yeah. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of our hour. Is there anything else we want to wrap up? Greg will have a post coming out soon, kind of summarizing all the stuff we sort of excitedly bantered about with our challenge at the beginning. And so you'll want to review that, and we'll have more information coming. We want to hear your questions and tips. And now I'm curious to hear your tips for how we should value their trips, because I saw some interesting suggestions in the feed there. Any other comments from the rest of y'all before we go?
Just make sure that you're going to be here at the next Ask Us Anything, because that's where the guys are going to be finding out where they're going to be going to for their first destination. So that'll be one that you don't want to miss, because they'll find that out and then they're going to get booking straight away.
And more details coming on the blog, tonight, right, Greg?
Tonight, yeah, really soon. It'll be coming out. And I did want to say, again, if you haven't already given us a thumbs up, please do. At the beginning of this show, I posted a poll to YouTube and asked, what was your favorite past frequent miler challenge? 113 people voted, which I really appreciate. And 3 Cards, 3 Continents was the winner by far with 56% of the vote.
Wow.
Next
Nice.
was Party of 5 with 22%, 40K to Far Away with 20%, and Passing the Guck, which I imagine some voters probably had no idea even what that was, but only got 2%.
They like the name.
It was a gucky name.
I liked that
It's
3
a
Cards,
gucky
3
name.
Continents challenge quite a bit too. That was a good pick. It was a good pick.
Yeah, Nick voted 97 times.
Yes. One last suggestion for everybody: if you do want to get notifications about those live check-ins that we'll be doing throughout the challenge, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, but then you'll get a notification when we go live with those kind of irregularly scheduled mid-challenge check-ins.
And it's all going to be the beginning of June. So June 3rd is when it all kind of kicks off. So you're going to have to keep your eye on this in the beginning of June, that first week and a half or so of June.
Yep. All right. Cool.
All right.
Peace out, everybody.
Bye.